Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we are going to unravel a filing from DORIAN LPG. And no, it's not about dragons, but maybe some financial fire. I'll tell you, trying to understand corporate compensation sometimes feels like trying to understand another language. But don't worry, we'll break it down so that even I can understand it. So what's this report about? It is all about how DORIAN LPG, a company dealing with the transportation of liquid petroleum gas, or LPG, decides to pay its top executives. They're changing the rules a bit to make sure the executives are paid in a way that matches how well the company performs and to keep up with industry standards. Think of it as trying to align paychecks with performance to avoid rewarding anyone for just showing up. Before we dive in, if you appreciate getting straight insights from corporate documents, make sure you're subscribed. We also have a Discord community linked in the description below. This is a Form 8K, a current report companies file with the Securities and Exchange Commission, or SEC, to announce major events. In this case, it's about changes in how they pay their top people, the named executive officers. It's like a company letting everyone know, hey, we're changing how we do things around here. This report is dated May 9, 2025. It tells us that something important happened around that time that the company needed to share with its investors. In this case, it's the decision about those changes in executive compensation. The company we're talking about is DORIAN LPG Limited. They move liquid petroleum gas around the world. They're based out of the Marshall Islands, but they have an office in Stamford, Connecticut. So the main point here is item 5.02, which is about changes in who's on the board of directors or among the top officers and how they're getting paid. The key takeaway is that the company is changing how they pay their executives to better reward them for good performance and discourage risky behavior. The company is adjusting its incentive compensation plan. This is the plan that spells out how executives can earn bonuses and other rewards based on how well they do their jobs. They want their pay to be similar to other similar companies in their industry and use measurable performance goals. The goal is to make things more transparent, mean easier to understand for the shareholders. That way, everyone can see how the company is deciding who gets paid what. Now let's get into the specifics. For annual cash bonuses, the company is using a formula with 3 parts. First, 40% is based on EBITDA. EBITDA is earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. It's a way to measure how profitable the company is from its core operations without getting bogged down in accounting details. If the company hits its EBITDA targets, the executives get more money. The report mentions that the numbers might be adjusted for unusual events at the discretion of the committee. Next, 25% is based on safety. This means how well the company does at preventing accidents and keeping things safe. This is compared to other similar companies. Finally, 35% is based on how well each individual executive performs. This part is more subjective, based on someone's judgment of how well the executive is doing. Overall, these bonuses can range from 0 to 200% of the executive's base salary. Moving on to stock awards. This refers to the grants of restricted shares and restricted stock units. It's like giving the executives a piece of the company but with some strings attached. There is a formula for part of these grants. The value of each executive's grant is tied to a multiple of their salary. Think of it as setting a base level of stock awards depending on how much they earn. Then 20% of the total stock award is based on 2 things, each worth half. First is relative total shareholder return, or TSR. This is how well the company's stock performs compared to other similar companies. The better the stock does compared to others, the more the executives get. Second, there's return on net invested capital, or RONIC. This measures how efficiently the company is using its money to make profits. It's a bit complicated to calculate. But basically, it's about how much profit they make for every dollar invested. To calculate RONIC, the company uses a formula. They take EBITDA, subtract depreciation and amortization, and subtract interest income. Then they divide that by the sum of shareholders' equity and total debt minus cash. This metric is calculated every year with a 3-year rolling average. How much the executives get depends on the RONIC the company achieves, where TSR and RONIC are weighted equally. The total number of shares they can get can range from 0 to 2 times the original number. It is like they can either lose it all or double it based on company performance. More details about how much the executives actually got paid will be in the company's proxy statement. This is a document they'll file later that breaks down all the compensation details. Lastly, there are some exhibits. Exhibits are extra documents that provide more details. In this case, they include examples of the agreements that the executives sign when they get stock awards. These forms of restricted stock award agreements and restricted stock unit award agreements basically lay out the terms and conditions of the stock award so everyone knows what they're agreeing to. Alright, let's wrap things up. Dorian LPG is trying to make sure its executives are paid in a way that makes sense for the company and its shareholders. By using metrics like EBITDA, safety, TSR, and RONIC, they're hoping to reward executives for good performance and discourage them from taking unnecessary risks. Now, what does this mean for the company? It looks like they're trying to be more transparent and accountable. By using clear metrics, it's easier to see if the executives are actually earning their paychecks. One potential risk is that executives might focus too much on the metrics, which could lead to unintended consequences. For example, they might prioritize short-term gains over long-term growth. Overall, it seems like a step in the right direction. By aligning executive pay with company performance, Dorian LPG is trying to create a system that benefits everyone. Alright, that's our breakdown of Dorian LPG's latest filing. What's your take on these compensation changes and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description. Thanks for watching. See you next time.